final match, which was the first match of SummerSlam, Logan Paul and Ricochet. Of course, Logan Paul match had to go on first so he could go fly to Dallas to be alongside his brother in his boxing match. It was pretty much what you expected with Logan Paul and Ricochet, but interestingly enough, ending with Logan Paul using the brass knuckles to hit Ricochet and get the pin in 1802, which in my mind seems to think that maybe this feud between the two of them might not be over yet. Rachel, I'll let you get the first word in on this one, but certainly a lot of high spots, as you would expect. Maybe not as many as we thought there might be. But again, with that combined with the finish, maybe this feud between those two isn't quite done yet. I
agree completely. I think mostly because using the brass knucks, I think that Ricochet has to have some kind of rematch of some sort to get back at him. We talked about how good Logan Paul is, and he shouldn't be. They put on a great match, and they're just fantastic together. They've had spots in other matches with each other. Yeah, I mean, the ending was goofy with the brass knucks, but it was a good match overall. I liked it. I wish Ricochet would have won, but again, I think there's going to be more to it than that.
So what you're telling me is Ricochet might want payback.
Dun, dun, dun.
Just so happens to be the next WWE Premium Live event coming up, and we'll see how that goes. It's a late night. I can throw those jokes in as late as this is, but we'll throw it to Chris next. And again, you want two guys that are high flying to lead off the card. Certainly the case there. Logan Paul has finally figured out that his real life persona makes him a very punchable heel, and Ricochet kind of the ultimate underdog. Your thoughts on that match?
I want to hate Logan Paul so bad. I do hate Logan Paul so bad, honestly, and it has continued to surprise me just how quickly he was able to get in the ring and just pick up on everything. I can't say I've watched a match he's put on that I haven't been impressed with, and honestly, that just makes me angrier. Like I don't want him to be good, but he's just so fun to watch. And honestly, it makes him kind of a different heel than what we've seen recently. You talked about how you get these guys that are so great at being bad and being heels that they wind up getting cheered. Logan Paul doesn't seem to have that effect. I mean, even though he's amazing in the ring and people recognize that, he still gets all the heat that he can. And it's just a nice breath of fresh air in today's industry.
The guy he reminds me of, and I know he's not as good a wrestler as this person, so I don't want to confuse the matter, but to me, he reminds me a lot of Will Ospreay right after his heel turn. He was still kind of in that transition phase between junior heavyweight and heavyweight, but a guy that, maybe had said some things on social media that got people riled up. So he was a guy that some people just didn't like as a person, and he was now this heel character, but he also did these crazy moves. So kind of had that same vibe out of someone like Will Ospreay.
Logan Paul is about the perfect heel. Like Will Ospreay, he might have said some things that rubbed people the wrong way, but I don't know if people were convinced that he was just a horrible, irredeemable human being.
No.
And given his pedigree of being an indie wrestler, you're going to respect him. Even if you may not see eye to eye with him, there's a level of respect. So you're never going to truly hate him. Logan Paul is everything that makes a heel. He's, based on his just being an influencer, honestly, is enough to be heel worthy. But, he's been pretty sketchy, I guess, is maybe the best way to put that. Controversial. Maybe go with that.
That's probably a good way to say
it. Yeah. There's been some controversy there. And it's bad when the person you already don't like happens to be really, really good at something, seemingly having put less work in than other people. I'm sure he's worked really hard to get there, but you don't see that. So all you see is this guy who's wrestled a handful of times that is just outstanding at it. And it's something that the best heels in pro wrestling can't be, because there's still that level of, they're working. That's not exactly who they really are. That you're getting who Logan Paul is. It's authentic, and I don't think there's a heel in wrestling that can claim that.
I think you're exactly right there. And from everything I've heard, they're basically teaching Logan Paul on the fly. It's one of those things like, okay, these are the things you're going to need for this match, so we're going to teach you how to do those things, rather than here's how to do a lockup and here's how to, basically he's getting reverse wrestling training, where it's like, you're going to need to do a buckshot lariat jumping out of the ring on Ricochet on the floor. Like,
That was wild.
Like,
Yeah.
that's nuts. Like, it's nuts to see somebody do that in the ring. To do it from the ring to the floor, that's just crazy.
But it's like they have him do these moves because it'll trigger people too. Like it's another layer of here's how you're going to irritate somebody.
He does it very well, and he's very talented, and Ricochet is too. And again, I my gut tells me that whether it's Payback or somewhere down the road, maybe the Survivor Series, we're going to see those two in a ring once again, because there's certainly some unfinished business there.
Just one minor thing about that match, and I understand I'm one of the few people who don't follow him on social media, so I don't know any of the side characters to his little universe. So, like, I wish WWE would throw me a bone and say, here's the people that might show up at some point in time that you need to know about, so it doesn't look like some random person just started handing weapons to Logan Paul.
I think
You're
that was
talking about like the KSIs and all of those folks.
and
Like,
I
at
think
least have them dress up like a Prime Energy bottle. I mean, at least then I would understand.
And I was going to say that I think that's something they did well at WrestleMania, where it was like, okay, clearly these guys are with him. They're doing this Prime Energy thing. Like you immediately associated that. But like having a couple of his flunkies come to the ring with him on Raw or something, just to where it's like, I can recognize your face now. So if I see you handing him brass knuckles, I'll know that you're one of his dudes. And, you know, the surprise doesn't really work. I mean, for his people, I'm sure it's, I know who that guy is, but for the rest of us, not so
There
much.
are far more people that know who he is than don't know, as far as like the people that are watching Logan Paul. So I understand I'm kind of in the minority here. The other thing is, I hope this isn't over. And based on their styles, this screams some sort of gimmick match, whether it be Hell in a Cell or just something that they can be elevated and jump off and do ridiculous things. I think we need to see that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think we will see more of those two somewhere down the line. Obviously, Logan Paul, not necessarily there each and every week, but I think WWE will continue to bring him in. And I think it'll be a chance for Ricochet to get his win back and kind of elevate him potentially to Intercontinental title, US title type picture, which would be good to see him back into that.